Scott Shefferman, Principal Strategist at Eclipsium, here today to give you my hot take on a recent blog that John Lucatus wrote. He's one of our smartest minds here at Eclipsium. There are many. He wrote a blog highlighting the fact that CISA put out its 2021 report and advisory around all the CVEs that are being hit the most and are the most impactful, the ones that are actually being hit in the wild. He noticed that in 2020, there were 33% of all those CVEs were related to, in particular, device-level firmware vulnerabilities on VPN appliances. Appliances that are externally facing, providing VPN services to the internet, right? So, and to home users. He noticed that in 2021, it went from 33% to 69% this year, right? And that there are more CVEs in the form of Pulse Secure and Fortinet and other CVEs that are added to this list that are being hit in the wild and very impactful, right? Causing a lot of damage. So I think a lot of us know that a VPN appliance these days can be the initial vector into a ransomware campaign, an espionage campaign, or any kind of campaign for that matter. And that their credentials are for sale on the deep dark web in mass, and that there are easy ways to grab multi-factor authentication tokens that go over SMS if organizations are still relying on SMS to do two-factor. Please don't do that, right? So in this against this context, one kind of needs to ask the question, A, how are these vulnerabilities arriving on all these VPN? Like every single manufacturer has like an RCE. I'm over exaggerating, but it's probably actually true if you did the analysis. Like all of them. Nobody's immune here from these massive vulnerabilities that allow attackers to gain full control over a VPN device, right? So let's imagine that it's either because we've gotten as an industry and researchers and coordinated disclosure programs extremely good the last couple, 2-3 years at fuzzing and finding vulnerabilities that we weren't able to find in decades past, right? Like the number of vulnerabilities in these VPN appliances has gone up 6x in 5 years, right? That's insane. So that's more than just a vulnerability discovery evolution. And I think it's also more than those organizations like getting really, really bad or worse in their SDLC. Like, I don't think they care less today about their SDLC than they did 5 years ago or even last year, the year before. I think they care more. I think they're doing more active and static analysis before they ship code, more QA. So I have another philosophy, or at least a gumption. And I'll never be able to prove this, and neither will you, because when these kind of things happen, they're far and few between that we ever read about them or they ever get exposed, right? These kind of actors are very good at what they do. I believe that there's a whole supply chain issue going on here where the SDLC of these organizations has been compromised, and that these vulnerabilities are actually features. And a lot of them are ones that you need to chain. A lot of them are ones like in Excelian devices where you needed to have really good insight into the way this firmware was built, the way it's structured, the way it was developed before you could chain together two vulnerabilities the way that those actors did, like the CLOP group, ransomware group did, right? So now here's the thing. It's more important than that gumption. It's really this fact. It really doesn't matter how these vulnerabilities get into those appliances that you rely on so desperately for your operation in a COVID world, right? It doesn't matter, because whether it's implanted by a malicious actor or whether it's a researcher through a bug bounty program that finds the vulnerability that immediately turns into a campaign exploiting hundreds of devices in the wild, it doesn't matter to you, because you still have the same device with the same manufacturer with the same vulnerability that's being exploited by the same actors, whether or not they had upstream supply chain advantages or not, right? It doesn't matter. So the point is, the takeaway, if you want my real hot take, get really, really good at patching way, way, way faster than you currently do on all of your external facing devices and services. Get really, really fast at it, okay? Because we're not at the era yet. We're not at the era of even accepting this yet, where manufacturers and OEMs can push automatically a patch that applies itself the second they push it without you giving a green light. It's really scary to have an OEM maybe brick all of their customers' VPN appliances, isn't it? But so too is it really scary that we have dozens upon dozens of remote code execution level vulnerabilities across every VPN appliance and every single industry, every mission, every hospital in this country, on this planet. That's a little bit more scarier than a little bit of unplanned downtime. So, my call to arms is for the industry to get to that threshold where we actually do need to trust and we need to hold those vendors accountable for immediately patching vulnerabilities. And until we get there, until we cross that critical threshold, if the critical mass, if you will, where we realize this is the only way, until we get there, you need to get really good and really fast at having a total inventory of all your devices and the ability to patch them as fast as a patch gets pushed out, right? That's part of what obviously Eclipsium's mission, that's part of why they built the platform the way they did, is so that you can actually do that. All right, that's my hot take. I think you've heard enough. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day patching those externally facing CVEs.